which is like super subtle. Like some of them are obvious, like, oh, I want to be seen in this way, or I want people to think I'm this, or whatever. Like that stuff is really obvious, but it's way subtler when it's like, I was just like squinted for a second there. I saw a face on the masking tape on the back of that thing or whatever, and it's just like, the subtle part of like, you drew faces in clouds of the smoke or whatever, and like just start to associate faces with that, and associating faces in things, and it's like, Anthony, faces in things, and identifying you as somebody who puts faces in things, and you identifying yourself as somebody who sees faces in things or whatever. It's like it doesn't mean anything, but that subtlety, if it's in there, allows more wiggle room. Allows any wiggle room to be like, okay, this could extend into things that aren't, like, you could say almost aren't healthy, but it's more like things that could sneak in and subtly start to bring, like, you could start to identify with it, with attachment. But otherwise, it's just, I see faces and things. And like that, it's almost like the indifference versus disliking or type of difference. It's like, I can see faces and things, or I can be attached to the idea that I see faces and things. And in both cases, you would act exactly the same. But one of them is something to work through, and the other one is just, this is a thing that happens. And one is reality, and one is the attachment to that reality. And so it's like, it's so subtle, it's so sneaky. And it's like that with every single thing in the whole world, in every single person's life all the time. So if your footing is in that, it's a messy soup, and it's hard to know the difference because it looks identical to oneself and the world. But if you learn to actually care, to actually have consideration and whatever for who you are and and what your foundation of who you are is, and like where that's coming from, then you can stand in that, and you can do anything, and there's never going to be attachment, because it's just like, if you see a face in the thing, you can act exactly as one does without any issues for that person or anybody else, and then life is good.